Hello, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and I hope you will enjoy it, and please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will be notified when I have a new video. This is actually I've done very few pre-recorded videos, so please be kind. Not really good at this yet, this portion of it, but I'm gonna try. So, and I'm not really going to have time to edit it because this trial starts tomorrow. I want to get this out right away, and don't really know how to edit very well anyhow, so, or at all. So I'm just going to wing it here, and hopefully this works out. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over, I have a couple presentations I'm going to go through about Lori Daybell, and the trial starts tomorrow. So what I had done is I looked up, I focused more on Lori for now because her trial is first. They have been severed. So we don't know when Chad will have his trial. He did sign he signed away the right for a speedy trial. She has not. So that pushed hers quicker. Now it has been 3 years, so it's been quite a long time. But as you will see, there's so much involved here. And so what I have done, I've hit a lot of, I'll go in more in depth in describing things than what I have on here. I'll go a little further, but there's just so much. And I wish that I had focused more on Chad, because in focusing on Lori, I have learned a lot more about Chad than I had known about, which to me changes quite a bit, changes things a little bit. So, sorry, I've got a chihuahua over here. Anyway, so I'm going to just go through the presentations and elaborate somewhat on each thing. I also have put in the description box some really good channels for information about this case. And so please check those out. They're very informative, very good channels. And what I'm going to be doing, this trial will not be, there won't be any cameras in the courtroom, won't be streamed. So there will be an update each day. And I'm going to be doing a recap each day. Louise, I'm going to be doing a recap each day. I won't start probably tomorrow with the recap because tomorrow will be jury selection. Not quite sure how long that's going to last. But, as soon as the trial gets started, I will start doing recaps. Come here. You stop right now. This one's wanting to chase lizards. So, sorry about that. Okay, so I will get started with the presentation. And please put in the comment section below if you have any questions about anything you'd like me to look up on this. I will certainly elaborate any way that you would like. So, for now, I will just get started on this presentation. Okay, so this first presentation is going to basically just, in a very brief way, describe who Lori is and where she comes from. Like I said, there is so much to this that the tentacles just go everywhere. So I've tried to be very brief about just, putting what is necessary. And I will elaborate some based on, what we have here. But other than that, okay. Okay, I did not mean to do that. Okay. So, but also please remember that all of this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All opinions are that of my own, myself. So please do your own research and form your own opinion. This is all just my opinion. So, Lori Noreen Cox was born on June 26, 1973 in San Bernardino, California. She was the fourth of 5 children to Barry and Janice Cox. The oldest sibling is Stacy Lynn Cox, then Alexander Lee Cox, Adam Lane Cox, Lori Noreen Cox, Summer Novell Cox. Now, Stacy passed away in 1998, cause undetermined. She was 31 years old at the time. Alex passed away in 2019 of natural causes, natural blood clots in his lungs. So not, that's kind of being looked into more at this point, I believe. A lot of things are. Okay, so Lori's husbands. Now, she married Nelson Yanes in 1992. I can't find any pictures of them. And that marriage didn't last very long. She kind of ran off and got married. And family was against the marriage. And but I know very little of it. I don't have any photos of them. She then married William, Lagolia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. 1995. They divorced in 1998. That is the biological father of her son, Colby Ryan. Now, she married Joseph Ryan Jr. 2001. They divorced in 2004. He is the biological father of Tylee Ryan. And Colby took his name. I can't see where some places say that he adopted Colby, but I can't actually find that because then some things say took his name. So I can't find where he actually adopted him. And this photo on the bottom over here, that is Joseph Ryan and Lori Ryan at the time then. The top photo is Charles Ballo and Lori Ballo, which was her next husband, was Leland Ballo, Charles. They were married in 2006 to 2019, where he passed away. He was killed. They did adopt JJ. JJ was the grandson of Charles' sister. And then she married Chad Daybell in 2019. So these are the husbands. Okay, So we kind of get started here where Lori Vallow met Melanie Gibb in October 2018 in Mesa, Arizona at church. They formed a close spiritual friendship. Lori often would speak on Melanie's faith-based podcast. Within weeks, they attended a religious conference in St. George, Utah, where Melanie introduced Lori to an End of Times author, Chad Daybell. Chad and Lori had an immediate spark. Chad expressed that he and Lori had been married several times in past lives. Chad professes to be a prophet and has an ability to recognize when people turn dark, become zombies, basically. And so I'll say there's a whole lot more to all that, but what happened is that Chad had a couple incidents happen in his life where his family had heard about these situations. A lot of people had. But in 2015, he had wrote many fiction books, and they didn't get very far. And he started a publishing company, and he started publishing books for somebody named Julie Rowe. She was an End of Times author, and she had near-death experiences. And so this gave her a portal into some kind of a relationship with God. And it's called a torn veil or a broken veil, is how they describe it. So what happened is her books were doing very well with his publishing company. So he then changed his mind about a couple incidents that had happened in his life that he then deemed those were near-death experiences. So he also had a portal to God. So this is how he would know when people are becoming dark. People had different, there's different layers of being dark. You're either really dark or, it's really weird how they did all this. But anyway, and then some people were zombies, literally zombies. They were beyond dark. And so they didn't even inhabit their own bodies any longer. And he had this gift from God, so he could tell these things. So that's how he also knew that he and Lori had been married in several different lives. So back to the story. Lori and Chad very quickly developed a close relationship despite both being married. Lori and her brother Alex were very close. He's very protective of his little sister, but a lot of people describe their relationship as inappropriate. They made a lot of people very uncomfortable. So, and Lori has lived in several states. She lived in California, Texas, Hawaii, Utah, and Arizona that I could find. And what would happen a lot of times, her and Alex both would move to different states. The other one would often move where the other one was at. They were very, very close. So there's that. And most people say he would do anything for her, and it does appear that he probably did. So moving forward on all this, they developed this strong relationship, and they began texting, emailing, doing all kinds of things. There's things said that she would tape herself every evening dancing for a couple hours and send that to him. I don't know, but she apparently had a dance studio in her home. She was also a hairdresser, and she usually had everything set up at her home to do hair. And I will mention this: her daughter she started dyeing Tylee's hair when she was literally a toddler because she wanted her to be blonde. She dyed her own hair blonde always. Anyhow, that's just something to throw in there. So what happens is Chad lets her know who is Dark. Now, her husband, Charles, was a zombie. His body was no longer his own. His body was inhabited by somebody they called Ned Snyder. So, I guess people who are zombies, they didn't necessarily come right out and say, okay, we will unalive these people, but they would know that they would be unalived somehow through a car accident or something. Seems awful convenient that people that stood in their way of being together were Dark and or zombies. So as it ends up happening, Melanie Gibb is also very involved with all of this with them. And she will be testifying at the trial, and her involvement is very sketchy to some people. Some people believe that she was far more involved than what she alludes to or has testified to. I don't know, but she didn't know a whole lot of what was going on. According to her, she knew nothing about any deaths. But so as it turns out, Charles Vallow was killed by Alex Cox in an apparent self-defense. After a domestic dispute between Charles and Lori at their home in Chandler, Arizona, Lori, Tylee, JJ, and Alex. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yes, after that happens, they moved to Rexburg, Idaho, which is where Chad Daybell lived with his wife and 5 kids. So going into Charles, he had, they had separated abruptly, in his opinion, and he knew she had gotten, in his eyes, gone pretty much off the rails and was acting crazy. And he had told the police, he told lots of people, anybody who would listen to him, that he thought she was going to kill him, that she had gotten really mixed up with this guy, and he didn't feel safe. And obviously they've opened up the case again of self-defense, and it wasn't really investigated at the time. It really wasn't. They really dropped the ball, and I'm not proud to say that because this is the same town I live in. Not proud about that at all, but that is what happened. So yes, Lori and her children and Alex moved to Rexburg, where Chad lives, and his wife is also Dark. And this is where she dies, 10/19/19, in her sleep of natural causes. Tylee is last seen on September 8th, 2019. JJ is last seen 9/23/2019. Both bodies were discovered June 9th, 2020 at the home of Chad Daybell, buried in what they called the family's pet cemetery. Yes, very sad. All of these people were Dark. Again, the 2 children of Lori's that were still at home with her, they weren't grown, and her husband, his wife. Those were the people basically possibly keeping them apart. There is proof that Alex was very close in the vicinity of all of these places. Cell phone pings put him near the Daybell home when Tammy Daybell dies. He's very much involved in he is one of the last people to see Tylee and JJ. So, but of course now he is no longer alive. So moving on here. What happened? Okay, I don't know why that one's not coming up. Oh, okay. So I think we're done with, okay, that's the end of that presentation. I apologize. So I have another one that we will go right to. Okay, so same thing. This is going to go more into the family members and other key players involved in this crazy story, which it is really crazy. But same thing, please know that all of this is my opinion and my opinion only. So let's get started. So Barry and Janice Cox are her parents. This is a photo of the parents, Barry and Janice Cox, the oldest sister Stacy, her husband, and their daughter Melanie. And then there's Adam and Alex, Lori and Summer. And so basically they are LDS family, and it is said that Lori was very involved in scripture her whole life. She was very passionate about it. She believed that her father was, to some degree, some kind of prophet. But they were very active in the church, always. And I will say that a lot of people, or there probably are people who think that a lot of this is coming from LDS. And some of these beliefs that Lori and Chad held, they are beliefs of the LDS. But by no means where they went with it was not anything that is believed by the LDS. I'm not trying to defend nor degrade any religion whatsoever. But what they did is not something that is believed by or supported by the church. Just to be clear about that. Obviously, they went in a direction that was really off the rails. But at this point, what's happened with Barry and Janice is they have spent decades fighting the Internal Revenue Service with the opinion that the federal income tax is unlawful and the IRS is a rogue agency, which led to taxes, to back taxes, totaling more than $300,000. Barry was sentenced to 366 days in prison for making a false statement to the IRS in 1999. As per Arizona state bar records, he was reprimanded for engaging in the unauthorized practice of law in 2018. I don't know what that pertains to, but that was all I could find on that. Both, particularly JANIS, defend their daughter of any wrongdoing in the deaths of her children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. Barry has, for the most part, stayed out of the media, opting to allow his wife and daughter Summer to give interviews. The mother has been, she was also in the Netflix miniseries Sins of a Mother. Janice is in that. I think Barry is also, but not as much. Summer and Janice have done Dateline interviews and different things, and Barry has basically not been real out in the media. So Stacy Lynn Cox, this is the oldest sibling of Lori's. She was married and had a child, Melanie Pulowski. She is a key player in a lot of this as well. She had complications in childbirth and continued to have health problems thereafter. Her and her family moved to Seattle. When Melanie was 6, her father left her mother with her. A nasty custody battle ensued, and at the age of 9, Melanie's mother, Stacy, passed away. There seems to be a lot of confusion regarding her death. According to Melanie, she died from type 1 diabetes and gastroparesis. Her father claims she had mental issues and died from anorexia. Authorities are currently taking a renewed look at several other deaths surrounding Lori Vallow and her husband, Chad Daybell. So that's what I found was undetermined cause. Supposedly, the father of Melanie did not have good relationship with the family, and so he took her and left the mother with nothing, according to Melanie. And so she ended up back in California with her family, and they fought for custody. And she didn't end up getting to know her family until, I think she said around 15 years old is whenever she actually started spending more time with her mother's family. And that's when she became very close to Lori, who was her aunt. So then there's Alex Cox. December 12th, 2019, in Gilbert, Arizona, Cox died of natural causes. Autopsy report indicates Cox had blood clots wedged into the arteries of his lungs. He was 51. He was found by his stepson in the bathroom, gasping for air and vomiting. 1 or 2 days before he passed, he told his wife, Zulema Pastines, "If anything happens to me, there is money in a bag in the closet, and it's for you." There was a duffel bag with $5,000 to $7,000, headphones, a phone, and a gun in a case. He said he thought he was going to be the fall guy for Chad and Lori. The next day, he was dead. Police reports link Cox to the death of Charles Vallow, Tammy Daybell, Tylee Ryan, and JJ Vallow. So I think he realized at some point, it appears he would do anything for her, and he did. And at some point, he realized that he was probably going to take the fall for that. He is pictured all the way to the top left in this photo. Okay, Adam Cox what I found is he never worried too much about his sister, but in later years, once he noticed that she'd started to adopt strange ideologies, he grew genuinely concerned. In fact, in the months leading up to the tragedies, Lori had told Adam that she'd spoken to Jesus Christ face to face. And that was that she was turning into a translated being who could not die. Adam is now determined to speak up about his sister and her behavior while also keeping his personal life away from the spotlight. There is some questions about some of his behavior too. Again, I don't know. I'm anxious to see what comes out in trial about this. He didn't live in Arizona or in Utah. He lives in Kansas. So wasn't directly involved. But there was a time that when Charles was very concerned about his own well-being, he reached out to Adam, and Adam was trying to help him, but some say not really. So I don't know. Hopefully this is going to come out in the trial. So the last sibling then is Summer Cox Shiflett. I have put something that she had on Facebook because I can't find out a whole lot about her. There was some talk about her involvement as well into things. Also, there's some reports of her having an extramarital affair with somebody who was involved in some of these things also, but I can't confirm anything like that. There's just a lot of talk. Again, I'm very much looking forward to finding out in court how this is going to play out. She had originally completely supported her sister prior to the remains of JJ and Tylee being discovered. So I just put a piece of something that she had put on Facebook after the remains were discovered. And she said, "We have prayed for the truth to come to light, but we never thought it would look like this. Believe me when I say this has looked very different from my perspective than what the public has seen. It's easy to jump on a bandwagon when you don't personally know all the people involved. When you have been up close and personal, you can't discount your own interactions and just go by what everyone else says and thinks. I know there are people waiting for me to admit I was wrong. If that's all you want to know, here it is. I was wrong. I am an extremely imperfect person that loves my family with all my heart, and I wanted to believe the best in them. And I held out hope for the best possible outcome. I have always said things truthfully as I understood them, and will continue to do that as I learn new information." And that is on her Facebook. So she is going to testify. Now the judge has sealed the witness list. So it's kind of disturbing. It'd be nice to have. But I do know that she is going to testify. So Colby Jordan Ryan, the only living child of Lori Vallow Daybell. Colby was born in 1996 to Lori Noreen Cox and her second husband, William LaGoya, in Travis County, Texas. His birth parents divorced in 1998, and Lori would marry her third husband, Joseph Anthony Ryan Jr., with Colby taking his last name. Colby first met his wife, Kelsey Benson, in middle school. They didn't date until college. They married January 2018. They have 2 daughters, separated in the summer of 2022. In September, Kelsey accused Colby of SA. Charges were later dropped. He has a YouTube channel, Life with the Ryans. Last post appears to be July 2022. He wrote a book called God Over Odds. He stood by his mother until the bodies of the siblings were found in Chad Daybell's yard. He recently appeared, as many others did, in a Netflix miniseries, Sins of a Mother. I've not been able to find anything indicating whether he intends to attend his mother's trial or not. But I have since learned, since I did this, he is going to be attending the trial and he is going to be a witness. So there is that. There's no word whether he's looking at a divorce or not. It appears probably, but I don't know that. I cannot confirm that. So here are some other players. This is Melanie Gibb, the close friend of Lori's and Chad's. Again, it's, you know, what people happen to believe about her involvement. Some people don't believe what she says. A lot of people do. I certainly don't know. But she definitely will be testifying in the trial. There's Melanie Pulaski. This is Lori Vallow's niece. She was very heavily involved in things as well. She went through a divorce during the time of Chad discovering who all in Lori's family was dark. Her husband was apparently dark. So they split up, and there was an attempt on his life. So he immediately went into hiding with their children, and I'm not sure where all that stands at this point. I did see where, according to her, she doesn't speak to her father, and her father has helped her husband and the kids try to get to safety, because everybody else that was dark was dying. So the attempt on his life was very close. It almost happened, and that was in Gilbert, Arizona. So his name is Brandon Boudreau. She has since remarried. That's how she's Pulowski now. So Annie Cushing, that is a sister of Joe Ryan. She's very, very involved in things. Has a channel. That's one of the ones I put the link in my description box. She's very knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff. And it's a really sad thing, because her brother was Lori's third husband. He was found because his body was decaying, and the smell is how he was found. It was said he died in his sleep. Natural causes. Again, a lot of people dying in natural causes in this scenario. A little odd for me. I don't think I've known anybody that was not very old that had died of natural causes. But I'm sure that's being looked into. There's nothing indicating for sure. Alex Cox had spent time in prison for attacking Joseph Ryan prior to his death. He attacked him with a stun gun. Some people say that the plan was to hit him with the stun gun and then take him out and unalive him. I don't know what the actual plan was there, but it didn't pan out somehow. But Alex Cox did spend time in prison for that. And then there's Kelsey Ryan. That is the wife of Colby Ryan. So now these are the people. Well, there's many deaths, but these are the ones that were killed because they were dark. And these two precious kids, and Charles Vallow and Tammy Daybell, her death has been determined to be a homicide now. Very, very sad. So this is a timeline of things that have happened. You have Joseph Ryan dies of a heart attack, they think. And that's April 2018. December 2018, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow publicly connect for the first time. And then you have Charles Vallow is shot and killed by Alex Cox. Then you have October 2019, Tammy Daybell dies of natural causes. September 23rd, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow are last seen. Then, where is Diva? Oh, okay, she already has passed there. In December 11th, 2019 is when Tammy Daybell's body is exhumed for an autopsy. December 12th, 2019, Alex Cox dies. Death deemed suspicious and autopsy is pending at this time. So we have in February of 2020, Lori Vallow is arrested in Hawaii for not producing JJ and Tylee. The court had ordered her to produce them. Oh, and yeah, November 5th, 2019, Chad and Lori are married in Hawaii. Then you have June 9th, 2020, remains of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow are found buried in Chad Daybell's yard, and he is arrested that day. So May 25th, 2021, they are indicted by a grand jury for murder. So in March 2nd, 2023, the judge severed the cases of Chad and Lori Daybell out of separate trials. And down to tomorrow, April 3rd, 2023, Lori Vallow Daybell is scheduled to stand trial. So how did we get here? Basically, Lori Vallow, a devout member of LDS religion, becomes very involved with a group that has spread beyond the teachings of the religion and believes they are part of a special group chosen by God to lead in the end of times. Charles Daybell, a leader in a group that believes that they are chosen by God to lead in the end of times, he believes himself to be a prophet and is able to determine who is dark. Zombies have taken over their physical beings. They are not people. They are not the people they were born. These are people that will die, because only people that will be left in the 144,000, according to their beliefs, are not zombies. Everybody else has to die. So as a prophet, Chad knows he and Lori were married in several lives, and they are destined to be married in current life. They are essential to the 144,000 left in the end of times. Apparently, the reason anyone that stood in their way of them doing so was deemed dark by Chad and no longer exist. So this is these two, and Chad and Lori Daybell when at their wedding in Hawaii. And the path to what Chad and Lori Daybell supposedly believed to be their calling is riddled with death and destruction. Can only pray for justice to prevail. They will both be held accountable. Currently, other deaths have been reopened, and more charges are likely to be coming to both of them. And some already new charges already have in some cases. So I want to thank CNN, the U.S. Sun, Newsweek, the Cinemaholic, East Idaho News, and Fox 10 Phoenix for the information that I've provided here. And like I said, I have shared a link to the channels of for Nate Eaton, East Idaho News, and Hidden True Crime, and also Murderous Heart, which is Annie Cushing's channel. These are all really, really good channels. I recommend them very much for information based on this. So I will be doing more on this and putting out some more videos on it, as well as, like I said, I will be doing recaps of the trial. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please push like. It's a very easy way to support my channel. And please join us again. Also, if you have any questions, anything that you didn't quite understand about this or something I could do, please leave it in the comment section below, and I will definitely respond to that and get back with you. So until then, stay snotty, and we will see you back here very soon, I hope. Okay, have a great day. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon.